Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and this is the 2025 Black Friday 50% off uniform buying guide. There are more categories than ever, from PvE gods to PvP support gods to legendary battle, all the way to buyer beware and overpriced seasonals. Now, we're going to just dive right in, but again, standard PSA before we go. This is just my personal opinion. You can buy whatever uniforms you want. You should have fun with this game and play it the way that you like to play it. So starting at the bottom here, we have overpriced. This used to say unbuyable, but now that they have the seasonal uniform ticket that you can purchase in the web shop for, I believe, like $30 or $40 Canadian, you can technically get seasonal uniforms, but they will not be 50% off, and they will actually cost more than they do when they're on sale as seasonal uniforms. Additionally, when seasonal uniforms now become 2+ years old, as is the case for Magneto and some of these older ones here like Thanos, they will become slightly discounted. This is a brand new feature that they introduced this year, and so it's actually the worst to buy them now, because not only are you overpaying, but you're just going to overpay even more. So keep an eye out for uniforms that are going to become 2 years old, seasonal uniforms, whether you're going into rotating into Christmas like we're about to, or April Fools, or summer, or Halloween, because those will then obtain a slight discount. But just for your sake and just for the guide's sake, I did rank them in terms of their value. So I think the worst seasonal, this doesn't list all the seasonals, guys, because there's a bunch of really terrible ones like Gwenpool, etc., old Deadpool, the pink Deadpool one. But all of the relevant uniforms and the ones that only have one uniform in the case of Iceman are all here. And I tried to rank them from best to worst. So if you absolutely have to get a seasonal uniform right now for Black Friday, then yeah, Luna's is the best. And then it goes down from there, and I tried to balance the value between supports and basic, then like damage dealers or DPSs for PvP. Buyer beware is pretty straightforward. These are just not very good uniforms for characters that are not very good, mainly because they're outdated, or in the case of these two, and also Ghost here, they just weren't really strong at release. Ant-Man is the funny exception here because he can actually jump up to the legendary battle, because if you have his uniform mythic and you invest into the Ant-Man Quantumania legendary battle, probably better than the movie at this point, you will get a CTP of Insight. So it's not as good as the other legendary battle rewards, but it does allow me to segue verbally into talking about the legendary battle rewards. And remember, guys, these are very, very good. You buy this uniform for 50% off right now, you get it up to heroic, boom, you get a CTP of energy. You get this one up to heroic, boom, you get a P card. You get a P card. You get I can't remember which CTP you get here. You get a CTP of Rage. You get a CTP of Judgment. So these are very good trade-offs where you're able to get either a P card or a specific CTP for, under 900 crystals. It's a very, very good deal in some cases. Obviously, if you've purchased the legendary battles already, if you haven't, then it gets a little bit trickier and stickier. Moving along to supports. This is where I think a lot of people are going to be buying new uniforms. So I wanted to settle between PvE support gods and PvP support gods, because there is a big difference, and I think a lot of players want to have more minutia and more detail among these two. So I'm going to go ahead and separate them now, kind of fast pace, rapid pace, and then we can talk about it in a little bit more depth. There is some overlap. There's definitely some overlap, but overall, I would say that characters fall into one or the other category most of the time. And I think this about does it for the list. So I'll rank them now. It's not really that important how they're ranked necessarily, but just keep in mind that depending on what characters you have and who you're using for different content, these characters will be better or worse for supporting. And I did include both Taskmaster uniforms because they're both useful, particularly ABX ABL. You do have, in certain days of World Boss, or certain restrictions of World Boss, switching from female and hero to male villain does actually help out quite a bit. So we got Ironheart here as well. We can bring her down here. Yeah, this pretty much makes sense. This looks pretty good to me. And so that's PvE. That's the PvE side of things, from Nick Fury to Valkyrie to Shuri to Cyclops. These are all just anything in the top row is going to be very, very good. Second row is going to be pretty good, but you have some expensive ones mixed in there that are native tier 2s. And then the last row is pretty bad, pretty niche. And then for PvP supports, let me just reshuffle this because it's not correct right now. but it really depends for Agent Venom whether you have the symbiotes built or not. If you don't have the symbiotes built, not very valuable. If you have the symbiotes built, obviously super valuable. Wasp being the #1 there because of that debuff cleanse. Strife, a little bit too expensive. Rescue, making her value known in TBA. This is a TBA only kind of pick here, and I honestly think that Echo is a TBA only pick as well. But yeah, her value when paired with Wolverine is outrageously good. So just keep an eye on that if you haven't already seen the videos and the clips of that. She's very, very good. So you might want to think about investing in her, giving her a support build, a support CTP, and then pairing her with Logan because she makes him kind of unkillable, and it's pretty freaking sweet. So that's how I see kind of the PvE and PvP supports. Obviously, some could switch over. Like, you could technically use She-Hulk, Mystique, you know, some of these characters in PvP. But generally speaking, this is what I see. Obviously, this wouldn't be for PvE necessarily. This would be for PvP, but this is like very, very low-end, like AC stuff. So it's not too crazy. But it's not bad. It's honestly not bad. And I guess that would probably be, it's whatever. For some of these, it's kind of whatever. You're not going to use them too much in either game mode. Moving along to PvE and PvP. This is where we're going to see a big shakeup here. We're going to start with PvP because it's the lesser of the two game modes, I think, but it does have a lot of changes. We're putting Sentry first because as a standalone, I think he's the #1 PvP character in the game. I would argue that Null is probably more likely 4th if he's on his own, but because he gets such tremendous buffs from symbiotes, he does kind of take the cake here. After Adam, though, I have to say, I think everything else has to drop. So this may be an overreaction. I think some people will disagree with me here, but I think this is the case. And obviously Shala Ball is not here, but she would be decent as well, but she doesn't have a uniform. So I think everybody after Adam just can't really be called a god anymore, because when it comes to things like TBA, when it comes to things like having restrictions, you can see that everyone rushes to get these 5 teams, and then once anyone in these 5 teams are banned, then they think about everybody else down here. I also, in my opinion, overvalued Carnage and Spider-Man. I think they both need to be dropped down a peg here. Thanos actually does pretty well, and he pairs pretty well with Mephisto. Apocalypse is a little bit more useful than we think. And yeah, I think that kind of does it. I think I would also put Hela a little bit higher because she's very useful for things like Otherworld Battle, and she checks a lot of teams with her support. I'd probably put Doom there, to be honest. Doom is honestly a little bit underrated, and the rest seems pretty fair. There's obviously a very big drop-off once you get to, like, Rachel. Even once you get to Quicksilver, there's, like, a huge drop-off because the quality here is not that good. We are missing some characters. Don't worry, we will rank them here, but we just want to get through the ones that we have already. And then for PvE, it's going to be a little bit trickier because most of these characters are gone. There's actually been more movement in PvE than PvP. Hulk has to go down quite a lot here. So does Gwenpool. Captain Marvel shouldn't even be here, to be honest, because we're going to bring in the zombie Captain Marvel. With the magic of editing, that is now fixed. Moving along here, we do need to decrease and lower Gladiator, Thor, Venom, and then Loki as well, and then Jean as well. We'll get to this, but we do need to bring in the new PvE gods to really sit at the top of the throne here, because there is a massive, massive difference between Mephisto and Storm and then everybody else. I know Ghost Rider is considered a PvE god, but I actually prefer him in PvP, and I think he probably makes up the last of those 5 there. He probably hangs on here to take the 6th spot, so I'll give him credit here, but you can put him in PvE as well. This requires the artifact as well as the uniform, whereas the old uniform didn't require the artifact because the old uniform was worse for PvP, and the old uniform, although it's just as good, maybe slightly better for PvE in some niche scenarios, I wouldn't consider him for PvP. So just keep that in mind. If you have the old uniform for Ghost Rider and you don't want to make him PvP, then don't worry about it. If you do, you got to kind of pick this one up, and that's why it is ranked here. We have to move Gamora up because she's now available for an ABX day or an ABL day, I believe. She's available for multiple days because of the alien female tag. Same thing with Venom, getting some extra run there. Gladiator takes a big hit, and so does Hulk. They both get their sandwich eaten by Ares. He comes in and basically just dunks on all of them. So that's pretty nuts. That's pretty nice to see. Probably something like that. It's tricky because for World Boss, Venom is really, really good. He has some crossover value now with ABX, ABL, along with Crescent. But, yeah. With Scarlet Witch, she is definitely a god. The thing is, it's both uniforms, and it's more so the zombie uniform than the other one, but the other one still gets play if you don't have Zeus. So it's a little bit more value if you don't have Zeus, a little bit less value if you do have Zeus. But yeah, she does get to play double duty. She can actually even play triple duty if you don't want to use Invisible Woman or Sharon Rogers for PvE because of the new ABX day. Now, I wouldn't really put Invisible Woman as a PvE half god, even though she does have 1 day of ABX, because she is, in my opinion, much better as a PvP support god. So that's where I'm going to put her. But I understand that some people will value her that way. But just keep in mind that Scarlet Witch can technically play triple duty. For the rest of the in Fantastic Four, it's not hot. It's honestly not hot. They're basically either PvP half gods or they're PvE half gods. They're just all right. They're just all right. He has nice burst damage. That's about it. Doesn't have a day. Doesn't really have a dollar here. Miles actually gains a bunch of value from the new ABX changes with his old uniform because you can use him if you don't use the new Winter Soldier. The new Winter Soldier, though, also gains some value, so you have to kind of respect that. At least for now, that's where their value is. It's sort of it's created value. It's not like it was long-term value. Dr. Voodoo, very good PvE and PvP support, but I want to put him in PvP just because the PvE one is so crowded, but he is very, very good for universal types. Bishop is just kind of like a so-so kind of middling PvP character. Honestly, it's probably worse than Punisher, unfortunately. Just doesn't have enough juice. Buyer Beware here with Yelena. Buyer Beware with Red Guardian, just not good. Buyer Beware with Juggernaut as well, just not good. Just unfortunately not good. Same thing with Shang-Chi, just not good, guys. Just be very careful with these uniforms if you're going to buy them. Just know what you're getting into. An interesting one here, Beast, PvP support, actually pretty useful for the HP. And then Doctor Strange Spacesuit. This is a very old uniform. I think this is the oldest uniform on the tier list. This one is for Blast Male Hero. So, yeah, very, very interesting day of ABL. It's very hard to play him because it's a lot of spam. It crushes your fingers. If you're like me, you're old man, you're getting arthritis. So he's technically valuable. I don't know how much value I would really give this uniform. It's really just 1 day of ABL. But, yeah, it's worth something. So I would put it there. Also got to raise up Kingpin's value because of the combat villain days. If it's not Ares, it's gonna be Kingpin. So that's pretty good there. Jean, yeah, okay. I'd put Jean thereabouts. Cho, he's gonna be a support. He's gonna be just for PvE, and he's gonna be decent around Mystique's level. A little bit worse than Mystique, I would say personally. Hellstorm is just like a whatever PvE character, not really that great. Nothing to write home about, just some nice burst damage and proc friendliness. Zombie Captain Marvel, decent for PvP, despite still not having penetration, so that's pretty sad. But it's not very good. It's quite niche. It's like Punisher, Bishop level. You need the full zombie team as well. You need Captain America. You need Weapon Hex, stuff like that, or Thanos, something like that. Thanos, Weapon Hex. For sure you need Weapon Hex, though. And then Kamala, actually, because of the new Inhumans tag for that 1 day of ABL, she actually has value now as well. So pretty crazy to see her gaining some value. It's between her and Black Bolt, so just keep that in mind. But Black Bolt, of course, is seasonal, and that's why he is all the way down here. I think this looks pretty good. Those are the gods there. There really is quite a bit of a drop after Storm. Doctor Strange is starting to lag behind Storm and Mephisto, particularly when it comes to things like Infinite Challenge, AB, Alliance Battle, Infinite Challenge. You can see there's like a huge gap between everybody else and these two. So put that with a grain of salt. You might even say this nowadays, considering how many days of ABX, ABL she's available for and how she dominates them, how she just crushed, Jean scores and stuff like that. Whereas Doctor Strange starting to show the wear and tear of being over a year old. So it's up to you. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm a big simp for Doctor Strange, but that is how I would rank it. And then keep in mind there are characters missing from here that will still appear in the meta, like Hades and Zeus, because of course they do not have uniforms. But this is how I would rank the characters, the uniforms for characters that I think are most worth your time. And I would rank them again from 1st to 5th, and then onward within each category. And of course, I would probably go PvE, then PvP gods, then probably PvE support, then PvP support, and then I would work my way through the half god lists, and then everything else maybe with a little bit of a splash into the legendary battle if I were buying a bunch of different uniforms, because I want to get value across a bunch of different game modes. Particularly, you know, you want to get all the PvE rewards, and then you want to be able to get some crystals from PvP game modes as well. So you do want to balance it out that way if you can as well. So hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash that button if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.